everyone, welcome to Have You Heard? And today, just for the second time, we're listening to Cream, and we're listening to Those Were the Days, one of the tracks off Wheels of Fire, which was a double album they released in August of 1968. One album was studio, the other album was a live album, various tracks from the tour that they did that year. My version of Those Were the Days comes from this. It's Heavy Cream. It's a compilation album, a double album again, that was released in April 1973. And I think I must have bought it round about February, March 1974, I think. I'd been in London a couple of months. It's a double album, a nice little flap here instead of a gatefold. Nice three caricatures of Eric, Jack and Ginger. And on the other side, all the track information. 22 tracks over 4 sides. I love this album. And just to show you, each of the two vinyl discs have this picture on one side, the three guys in front of a dinosaur, which maybe tells a picture later in the 70s when the punks got involved. And also on the back, a whole lot of information about the discography of Cream and the discography of the three members after they left the band. So I got, in terms of my collection, I got to Cream about 4 years after they disbanded, but I knew about them, of course, in the 60s. And I remember borrowing Goodbye Cream from a friend and not letting him have it for about 2 years, mainly because I played Badge over and over. And of course, we've done Badge on the channel already. So this is our second Cream song. We'll talk a lot about the people and the comings and the goings after the song, because I found out so much information when I did a bit of investigation and reading up before the video, stuff that I hadn't realized, which is great. But in the meantime, let's listen to the song. I think everything's set up and ready. Those Were the Days, the song that I was always drawn to when I got my hands on Wheels of Fire from friends and when I eventually bought this double album. I love it so much, and there's a lot of information about it, which is cool. But anyway, let's go. Those Were the Days by Cream.
When the city of Atlantis stood serene above the sea, long time before our time, when the world was free, those were the days. Golden cymbals flying on ocarina sound, before wild Medusa serpents gave birth to hell, disguised as heaven.
Goodness me. That went very quickly on to what the next one was, which was Born Under Under a Bad Sign. Goodness me. What a song. Written by Ginger Baker and Mike Taylor. Now you can tell it's Ginger Baker writing it because the drums are really up front. And this was really typical of Ginger's drumming at this time. Of course, White Room is on this album as well, which I kind of guess is the archetypal Ginger Baker drum sound, certainly with Cream. Um, but oh, I just love this song. It's not even 3 minutes. It is so short. It's got so much packed into it. Ginger's drums, Jack Bruce's vocals are superb. One of his best vocals, I think. I love Jack Bruce's voice. I really did. Of course, Eric wasn't bad either, and Eric did quite a few vocals, didn't he? But this is Jack. And then Eric Clapton's solo on that wonderful instrumental break. I think that's probably my favourite Eric Clapton solo in Cream. It is short, it is sweet, it is stunning, so exciting. And that kind of wow at the end as he fades away and Jack comes back in for the next verse. Brilliant, but so short. I could have listened to so much more. It is everything packed into less than 3 minutes, which of course back in 1968 kind of was what things were like. And it's a real shame. But I've lost track of the amount of times I've played this song, and every time it gets me. The production as well is wonderful. The handbells there just give that psychedelic feel, don't they? And those, of course, are played by Felix Pappalardi, who was also the producer. Felix, who, of course, was famous for being bass player and key member of Mountain with Leslie West. I mean, round about 1970, 71, Mountain were huge. I didn't have any of their albums, but I heard a lot of their music, and of course that was real power trio stuff. Leslie West was one hell of a player. But anyway, yes, let me tell you a bit of the information that I found out. Stunning information, to me anyway, because I'm a bit of a history nerd when it comes to music, and I love the way that things all kind of intermesh together. And please ignore my phone. Written by Ginger Baker and Mike Taylor. Now, initially, I always assumed that the M. Taylor in the credits was Mick Taylor from the Stones, probably just before he joined the Stones at this time. But no, it's Mike Taylor, and Mike Taylor was a jazz pianist and quite an influential English jazz pianist of the 60s. And of course, Ginger Baker was at heart a jazz drummer, and he moved in jazz circles, although he played in blues rock combos along with Jack Bruce and Eric, of course, but in different bands. He also, jazz was his first love, so he would have gravitated to jazz players. And Mike Taylor, as I say, was a jazz pianist, and he made a couple of apparently very influential jazz albums in the mid 60s, around 65, 66. And listen to the players he was playing with. He played with Jack Bruce, he played with Ginger, he played with a saxophonist called Dave Tomlin, who we'll get back to just now. He played with John Heisman and Tony Reeves. Now, John Heisman, of course, would very soon form Colosseum, another brilliant drummer, John Heisman, and he would form Colosseum. And there's a band we've got to get into on the channel. And Tony Reeves was the bass player with Colosseum. And Tony, when he left Colosseum, would join up with Dave Greenslade from Colosseum to form Greenslade. And we've done a couple of their songs already on the channel. Twin keyboard prog rock of the early to mid 70s, top class and totally unknown. But these were top players and people that I knew. And it's so funny how these things intermesh. Anyway, Mike Taylor, very, very sadly, and I did not know this, died in 1969. He was drowned in the Thames. I think he jumped, and he was drowned in the Thames in 1969, basically homeless and penniless. So sad. About 3 years later, a whole bunch of the guys, I think most of the guys I mentioned, got together and played a. What did they do? They played or made a tribute record to Mike Taylor, playing a lot of his songs, because apparently he died having left about 200 songs that he'd written. And some of those songs had been played before. And he contributed on Wheels of Fire to Passing the Time and Pressed Rattan Warthog. I've just been playing that to myself. It's so good, so psychedelic, not jazzy at all. And also a song called Jumping Off the Sun. Now, Jumping Off the Sun he wrote with Dave Tomlin, the saxophonist I mentioned earlier. And that song appears on a Colosseum album, or the expanded edition of the Valentine Suite, Colosseum's greatest album. And I also have a compilation album that doesn't feature on Spotify called The Collector's Colosseum, where a version of Jumping Off the Sun is done with a different vocalist, with Chris Farlow. And you English aficionados from the 60s would know who Chris Farlow was. He was a blues singer in all the big blues bands of that time, Graham Bond Organisation and people like that. And he also had a couple of solo top 10 singles. And he sang Jumping Off the Sun on this compilation. And if I can get that onto the channel, I will sometime, because it is amazing. Mike Taylor wrote that. Yeah. Then, of course, following up with all this reading I was doing, I thought, well, I'll just carry on. And then I was reading about Felix Pappalardi and how important he was to Cream, to getting the right sound for them in the studio, which they struggled with. And he became basically the fourth member of Cream. He would play percussion, he'd play a bit of bass sometimes, he'd play mellotron and stuff like that on some of the more psychedelic songs they did. And Felix died in 1983, murdered by his wife. Oh my goodness me, the info I found. I didn't know that either. But yeah, I'm just a real addict for it's not trivia, it's history. It's how these bands played, how musicians got to know each other, how they formed the links and the networks, if you like. And the 60s and the early 70s, there was a lot of networking going on. So there we are. I have stretched a 3-minute Cream song to a 15-minute video. Talking far too much. Please let me know what you think of this particular song. Shall I do some more Cream songs? We'll try and keep to the more obscure ones, if that's okay. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Please subscribe if you think you'd like to get to know us a little bit more. We've got playlists down below with 200 odd songs on it. Yeah, like and subscribe. The liking is good, so it helps us get to more people. But it's been great fun listening to Cream, and it's been great fun talking about them. I hope you have enjoyed the video. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, though, on the next episode of Have You Heard, because we do one every day. So until then, cheers, everyone.